What's up, y'all? I'm finally back out here at the range, as you can see, on another cool, breezy day. The temp's actually not too bad out here. We're hovering right around 50, I think, supposed to be the high today. But unfortunately, it brought some strong winds with it. The breeze out here is kicking. And I forgot my doggone good straw hat, so the sun's glaring on me. I'm in a mess this morning, but I think we're going to be able to get through it anyway. I've got a few interesting tests planned for today. We're going to start things out with a little 357 SIG and 9mm comparison. So, of course, the jelly contraption's ready to roll with a couple of chronos and 2 fresh blocks of gel. First test of the day on this one, so y'all get a very nice clear picture of what happens. I am, of course, using the heavy clothing barrier as usual that has a layer of denim, fleece, and 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. And the main purpose for this one here was to just run another round through the short barrel 357 SIG I picked up recently. Y'all know I used the G27, but I picked up an OEM 357 SIG barrel. So I figured we'd go back and test a few of the rounds that I only tested through the longer barrels. And for this one here, we're gonna keep them light and fast. So for the 357 SIG, I've got the Underwood item number 118. This is their 115 grain JHP. Now they're saying 1550 FPS on the box. Here's a look at your cartridge, nice nickel plated case, of course. Now this one is loaded with the Nosler ASP projectile, so you can see it there. And I figured there really wasn't no sense in putting it through the longer 357 SIG again, because we've seen that not too long ago. So we got a little bit of hot 9mm Underwood. This is the item number 112. This is the Plus P Plus 9mm 115 grain. Now they're saying 1400 FPS on this, so 1400 on the 9, 1550 on the 357 SIG with the same weight projectile. There you can see the 9mm again, nice nickel plated case. Now this is a Nosler projectile also, but this one is not the ASP. This one, according to the info on their site, is the sporting round. So a little bit of different round, which I'm glad to see, because at that kind of speed, that 357 SIG would probably just disintegrate. Now, speaking of the previous test, the 357 SIG, again, I ran that through the full size, the 4.5-inch barrel, the G31. On that, we were between like 1520, 1530 FPS, so right at the 1550 there. So pretty good on that. It'll be interesting to see how the short barrel. And then the 9, the only time I've tested this Underwood Plus P Plus 115 9, because I'm much more of a 124 guy, y'all know. So this I tested pretty far back out of my P365, and we got around 1270 out of that. So I expect we'll see close to the same from the MC9. And of course, our test tools here for the 357 SIG, like I mentioned, we've got the G27 with an OEM G33 barrel. So you've got a roughly 3.4-inch barrel right there. And then for the 9, I'm using my Canik MC9 with a 3.1-inch barrel. So a little bit shorter barrel, but that's about as close as I could get as far as the exact size barrel. So this should be a pretty good one. Again, I'm more of a 124 guy when it comes to 9mm, so I'll be interested to see what we get right here. Let's get it all set up and see what happens. All right, let's see what kind of numbers we can get from these short boys. I had to throw my doggone jacket back on. It's not too bad out here. Again, the temp's right around 48, right just under 50, which ain't too terrible until this gust of wind comes through here. It gets cold out here, so it's probably gonna be a musical jacket kind of day on and off, but I'll get through it. So anyway, I'm gonna do a 5-round average from both of these. We'll start with this 357 first. Now, if y'all aren't familiar with this lab radar, you will see multiple velocity readings. The large number is right here at the muzzle, and then you've got 5 across the bottom. The first one there is set for 3 yards, which is roughly where the gel is here at 10 feet, and then the others are set for 10, 15, 25, and 50 yards. Now remember, this is saying 1550. It didn't have a barrel length, but I'm assuming that's probably 5-inch, so we ain't gonna see that right here. Ooh, that's some loud stuff. 1445. Man, that's super loud. Not bad recoil at all. 1421. I mean, this stuff is loud, y'all. 1415. 1409. It seems like they keep on dropping on us. In 1388, they keep on dropping, I guess, as the barrel warms up. Let's check out the average. All right, things got a little weird right there, but it's definitely still moving on. Our 5-round average right there is 1416 feet per second. We had an extreme spread of 56 with a 20.2 standard deviation. That high was 1445, and then the very last one dropped down to 1388. So averaging just above 1400 for a 115 grain projectile ain't nothing to sneeze at for sure. Let's get it reset and see what the 9's doing. All right, let's see what we can get from this 9mm. Now again, the box on this was saying 1400, but definitely not from this short barrel. And if I remember correctly, that 1270 I got on the previous test, I'm pretty sure that average was from my 365. So we should see about that right here with this MC9. 1401. Whew, that's nice for sure. 1402. 1399. 1389. And 1408. That right there is super nice from a doggone 3.1 inch barrel. Let's check out that average. All right, y'all, that's pretty doggone impressive right there. We had a 5-round average of 1400, right on what the box says. I could have sworn that the last test I looked at, I checked a couple of this 115s, and I'm pretty sure I was looking at the right test. Maybe I was looking at the wrong test, but I'm almost positive we were below 1300 from the P365 with this same ammo. But anyway, definitely not the case here. 1400, we had an extreme spread of 19 with a 7.1 standard deviation, so nice and consistent. Also, this is virtually a tie right here based on what we got from the 365, so 1400 here, and if you remember on the 357, it was 1416, so you only talking about 16 feet per second average more. Now, we had that high of 1445, but even then, that's only 45 more, so more is more, but that's really surprising. I expected that 9 to be a lot slower from the shorter barrel. Now, all that being said, I got a feeling we're gonna see a ton of fragmentation, at least from that 9mm and probably from the 357 SIG also, but let's get it all reset and y'all know what time it is. All right, y'all, it's two-step jelly time. We'll put one of each into the gel, starting with this 357 SIG first. I think we're gonna see some good stuff down here, but I think we're gonna see a good bit of fragmentation. Hopefully, it'll prove me wrong on that. All right, it definitely smacked it good. Let's go see what we got. All right, no surprise right there. That's looking really nice. I think this 9's gonna do well too. I think we might see more fragmentation out of this. That right there proved me wrong. That wasn't a whole lot, but I think this 9's gonna give us a little bit more. I think I went a little bit low on that. Let me check that out. Yeah, that one got low on me, went down and actually smacked the bottom, so that one is no bueno. Let's move this up just a little bit. All right, that's more like it right there. Let's go check these out. All right, let's check this stuff out, y'all. Definitely not really what I expected from either one of these. I expected a ton of fragmentation, and really the only place I got a bunch of fragmentation was the one on the very bottom, and that's totally invalid. As y'all can see, it literally went into the board right there and just went all to pieces. So completely invalid right there. We'll look at them one by one here. On the top, that's the 357 SIG. As you can see, it comes in, I mean, it smacked that block good, buddy. It smacked the heck out of it. Huge energy transfer right here. No doubt that would put a hurting on something. Comes on through here. Now, you do have some fragmentation of the jacket right here, a few little pieces of copper, but other than that, I don't see any kind of lead. Now, there's probably a couple little flecks, but back here you can see some more jacket, probably a couple little speckles of lead, but for the most part, that looks very, very intact, and some really, really nice expansion all the way out here to probably right at 14.5 inches or so. And then, of course, down below, that's the 9mm. Definitely not what I expected here. I expected a whole lot more fragmentation out of this, and you really didn't get any. I see a bunch of little dark speckles, but I think that's from the dark color t-shirt I'm using on one of the layers. But again, on this one, it comes in here, obviously immediate expansion. Again, nice energy transfer right here. Comes on through the block. Now, it's suffered on the penetration. That's the problem with this one. Not what I expected at all. Probably just a little over halfway through this block, but you do have a ton of expansion on it. But as for the penetration, we'll do the 357 SIG first here. That one is out to exactly 14 inches of penetration. So really, really nice right there, considering how much energy that thing transferred. And then down there on the bottom, this poor 9mm, it actually stopped at 9.5 inches, so pretty short on the penetration. And again, that's really surprising. I expected more fragmentation and definitely more penetration. But here's your close-up look at them. Again, 357 SIG on the top, 9 on the bottom. Look at that 357 SIG. I mean, that's some energy sent into that thing right there, buddy. 9 mil, no slouch at all. The problem with that 9 mil again is the penetration. I mean, just woefully short right there. Very, very nice expansion though. Jumping back up to the 357 SIG, you can see here, really, really nice right there. As you can see, a little bit of jacket right there coming on through here, a few little pieces of jacket there, but you can see the projectile for the most part. That looks really, really nice and intact. And in here from above, it's gonna be a little tricky. There's the 9. I'll have to get you kind of at an upside down angle. 357 SIG up top and then the 9. Again, I mean, you talking about some nasty, nasty energy transfer right there. Very, very nice. Drop some of that jacket right there, you can see. There's your projectile. There's the one that hit the bottom, really of no consequence. And then there's the 9. All right, let's check out these projectiles, y'all. Definitely a bigger 9 mil size right here. This 357 SIG lost a little bit more than I thought. Plus, with it losing the jacket pedals right like that, the lead is just bent in further towards the base. So definitely a smaller ending size because of that. But both of them, absolutely beautiful expansion. 9 mil here, you can see very, very nice lead mushroom there. Pedals peeled all the way up under the base right there. Now, this being 115 is probably part of the reason it lacked penetration right there, and that's one of the reasons I prefer 124. But with this kind of energy, again, it's still putting down some hurt on something. And then again, here's your 357 SIG. You can see a nice mushroom on it too, but like I mentioned, with those pedals being gone, you can see it's obvious that it's a smaller final size as far as compared to the 9. So let's get a few measurements to see what we got. As far as the weight on them, they both started at 115. This 9 mil is exactly 115.0. I didn't expect any kind of loss. You can see there's just nothing in the gel. And in the 357 SIG here, that one's actually down to 109.6. So again, a little bit more loss than I figured, but makes sense because you lost almost every single pedal. You got one copper pedal left there as far as the jacket. And then as far as the sizes, we'll start with this 9 mil here first. You got 614 and 608. So really, really nice expansion right there on that 9. Unfortunately, that and the little bit lighter weight is probably what cost us some penetration there. And then on your 357 SIG, you got 547 and 567. So very, very nice expansion again right there, but obviously smaller again because of the reason we talked about. And there you go, y'all, the Underwood 357 SIG and 9 mil plus P plus in 115 grain. Definitely a couple of hot rods right here. I think if you're calling a winner like I like to do, I think it's got to be the 357 SIG without a doubt. Now, very, very close as far as the energy expansion on this 9 mil is fantastic. I just really don't like that short penetration, and that is valid right there. I mean, this one obviously went a lot further, but I mean, you can see it was into the wood. That's totally invalid. That 9 mil was absolute plenty clean, right into the cloth, right into the gel. So that's probably what you can expect for the most part out of this Plus P Plus 9 load. The 357 SIG on the other hand, this thing did absolutely beautifully. Now that weird velocity step down at the beginning, I don't know what that was about, but fantastic performance here in the gel. Very, very nice expansion, very, very nice penetration. You lost most of your jacket pedals, but that's really no big deal. Most of your weight's in your lead and you kept the large majority of that. So again, if I'm calling a winner personally, I think it has to be this 357 SIG, but I don't think really either one of them is a terrible round other than just that lack of penetration on this 9. All right, y'all, I'm gonna call it right there for a pretty good test to start out today. I was definitely surprised by a couple different things right here. First off, the lack of fragmentation really from both of these rounds, especially that 9 mil, and then very surprised that that 9 mil held completely together like it did. Got fantastic expansion, but really lacked a lot of penetration. So again, I don't know that I'd go so far as to call these 9 mil rounds bad, because they would more than likely get the job done if you put these things in the right place. But if we're calling a winner between these two, I think it's a no-brainer that it's the 357 SIG. But let me know down in the comments what y'all think about it. Do any of y'all out there run one of these Underwood rounds, the 357 SIG or the 9 mil Plus P Plus? Do you prefer 124 over the 115? Do you prefer the 115 but just a different load? Let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are. If you enjoyed the video, take a second if you would and hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you've got those notifications turned on so hopefully you get notified when I upload stuff. Take a second if you're doing some shopping and check out those affiliate links in the video description. That really does help out the channel, so I appreciate that. Big thanks as always to all my Range Gang members and every single one of y'all for supporting the channel. I've got a couple more really interesting ones planned for out here today, so stay on the lookout for those. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay prepared, and I'll see you soon.